Happening. Oh god, I have to type. Let's go. I am live. Stream manager. Chat. Cool. Okay, cool. Chat goes here. Hello, hello. Are cooking food for my dog. What that means, mostly is that we are creating a protein vegetable carb topping that I give him with his dry food. He's a very high, I believe dogs need much more protein than we generally get them. So, I take it into my own hands. In here I have, if you can see, this is pork loin, that's whole loin. This is beef liver. So, that is what we are doing. That takes a little bit of time to boil. We then are going to take it out, dry just a little bit. I will use that bowl. Yes. We're then going to add in a pound of ground turkey. The rest of this, probably a pound and a half of broccoli cuts. So, once all that is going, there's a little bit more that we need to add over here. I usually add a pinch of salt. You don't want too much. Dogs do not need their food to be tasty salty, but dogs do need sodium in their diet. So, we can crank this up. I have my nice induction cooktop here. It's actually a cheap one, but I really like the way it cooks, so especially for big stuff like this when it's hot water. You can, let me see, do I? No, I do not have any animal fats. Sometimes if I have bacon grease, or if I have beef tallow, or chicken fat, if I have any of those, I will add those in there. Dogs like fat. Yeah, we're going. Dogs like fat, dogs need fat. Fat's a big thing. I'm going to get my carbs ready for him. In general, dogs do not need too many carbs. You'll see that I don't add a whole lot in here, but they do need some. They do get a lot of carbs. In the mix that I use, he does get a lot of carbs from his dog food, which is down here. But he is lucky enough that I give him carbs from this. This is also extra protein. This is quinoa. He's going to get about a half a cup of that. This is a third of a cup. Rough measuring it. And he's going to get about the same amount of just very basic white rice. This is nothing fancy. You don't have to spring for anything. You don't have to wash it like I would always normally say. Always wash your rice. It's for a dog. Who cares? Yes, he's going to get probably a little less than half a cup there. But that's probably about 1 cup total. A little less than 1 cup, right? I believe this is a quarter. This is a quart container. Quart container holds 4 of these. So that is about 1 cup. These should be about 4 cups. And the final thing that goes in here is a source of fiber and a little bit of sugar. We have pumpkin. It's the same kind of pumpkin you would put in a pumpkin pie or anything like that. So that, we have this. We are already there. This can go over in the dishwasher. And the dog should know. Can turn that up. We want to keep this from sticking. One thing about induction cooking is it does just sort of directly heat up the very bottom of your pan. So it is not doing any kind of... the heat transfer up the walls is not as good, right? Like this has been going for a while. Like 5 minutes maybe. Handles are not hot, right? I can very comfortably touch those. But the water is also not hot. One of my favorite little tools is, and this is really dirty, is a laser temperature gauge. What do they actually call it? Infrared thermometer. Yes. So you can point this here and see that it shows you. Can you see that? Maybe 139. You can see how hot something is. Right. The top of the water is 143, and water boils 212. So that's what we're going for. We do want this at a rolling boil. Doesn't have to be long at a rolling boil. All this takes is pretty quick. I would say this takes about 30 minutes for me to do this. 30 to 40 minutes with everything going on. So not too shabby or bad. Let's check our stream info. Just chatting. Is there a tag for cooking? I feel like there is, right? Cooking simulator? Or is it just, I guess it's just chatting. I guess it's just chatting. Content labels. Oh, no, shit. Save. Oh, you can add markers in there. Cool. Very cool. All right. We can always crank this thing up. The way induction heating works, of course, is there is a magnet. It does not actually heat up this black element you are looking at. What it does is it heats up the pan by spinning a magnet. Because just kind of similar to a microwave, not really. They both use waves and certain things. So yeah, this is what the dog eats along with his very high protein food. If you Google, I'm looking at you, Mr. Dog. Yeah, you want to come here and say hi on camera? You want to come here? No. If you just Google what kind of food dogs needs, most things will say about 50% protein, 40% veg, 10% carbs, sugars, and other things like that. It was wild to me when I first got a dog. He's about to be 5. One of the wildest things to me was that I said, oh, okay, so dog food, will probably be pretty close to that. It's a bunch of dried stuff. Most dried dog food, this is the highest protein dog food that I could find from a brand that I like and trust, and it is 35% protein. So it is short on the amount of protein we need. That's why this is by weight generally there is probably, I think, 3 pounds of protein in here, and we get usually somewhere in the range of 12 to 14 cups of food, all things included. Like I said, this is 1.5 pounds. It should probably be more veg, but these are just the perfect size to put, half in each. Put half in one, half in the next sort of week's food. And dumping all of this in there is a little bit too much, I would say. So we're just making sure stuff doesn't stick again because the bottom of that induction burner. I should probably tweet that I'm cooking. Maybe that would help. Maybe somebody would show up. Who knows? Yeah, because that induction burner hooks the bottom, or cooks the bottom directly. For my dog on stream. Can I just copy? Share stream. Copy. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do. Delete post. Delete. New tweet. Yes. Cooking for my dog on stream. Paste. Boom. Boom. Just immediately repost it so that it shows up twice for people. Easy Twitch Twitter hacks. You heard it here first, folks. Okay, we are now moving. Stuff is boiling, so I'm going to turn this down. So we don't need it to be a rolling boil. We don't need to drive off too much of that water. I'm going to turn this down. I had it at 10 to get it boiling. I'm going to turn it down to 3.5. That usually gets things in the 250 range. Chat room. 1 viewer. Oh, it's the regular viewer. Cool. Da. Be alive. Cool. So that is going. That does not take too much longer. Again, we are just, we just essentially want to cook the liver, the beef liver through, and we want to cook the pork through. The pork will take a little bit longer. Both these are in the fridge. So they take a little bit longer. If we're afraid of driving off too much, if we are afraid of driving off too much water, we can always add it back. So we're not going to worry too much about driving off that water. Yes, what does this look like? I don't even know. It says we're live, but are we? Yeah, we are. Cool. I'm going to get ready with... Nope, that stuff's going in there. Does the dog want to come say hi? Can you come here? Can you come here and say hi? Come here. Come here. Come here. I think you have to be back here. Come here. It's Mr. Wags, everybody. Come here. Here, let me... Oh god, how does this... Hold on. Okay, come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here. Say hi. Say hi to the camera. You sit. Shake. Hey. Okay, go. Well, maybe he should. Who knows? Oh, take it off. I'm pretty sure that's just muffling my voice the whole time. We have to get... If we had better area mics, it probably would not be a big deal, but I'm using a headset mic right now, so... okay, we're going to crank that back up. We want that moving a little bit more. I am going to add, I think, a little bit of fat in here. Just some generic oil. Again, not much. Like, that is probably less than a tablespoon. But a little bit of fat is, of course, good for dogs, so we include it. We also do want it to be really, really roly bowling whenever we add the pork in there. Alright, we're going. Hit it down at 5. Alright, wait for that to go. Wait for that to go. This is something I am really comfortable with. So, I was a professional chef for about 3 years locally. I went to school for it. I went to one of the for-profit culinary schools, which I am a part of the lawsuit that... I'm pretty sure I can say that. Yeah, it's resolved. We won that lawsuit. Essentially, I was a part of the lawsuit that said, hey, you guys promised that we would have jobs and would be making money, and it turns out that was not true. So, I'm expecting to have, hopefully, that part of my student loans resolved soon. I think they said by 2027 or something. But luckily, that does delay my payments, so lucky me. So yeah, so I was a professional chef here for about 3 years. I worked in a sort of a high-end golf club, and then at a hotel doing banquets and weddings and stuff. That was pretty interesting and fun. And then I worked at I don't even know what you call them, like a medium fine dining French restaurant. Not like fine dining, not like black tie suit fine dining, but like, a place where the whole roast chicken that I was serving was like $60 or something. And you could get a New York strip steak that was 2 inches, 3 inches high and cost $80. That kind of place. So it was really good though. I hated almost every minute I worked in kitchens, and I still like cooking. So that hopefully tells you something. All right, this is cooked. Right, this beef liver is very thin. Doesn't need a whole lot of time to cook. We are going to put it in here because it's going to cool down. We're going to chop it up before we put it in the dog food, like you might expect. That's going to give off some juices that we will give to the dog to eat later, or we'll add it back into the dog food. This pork is probably not done, although it does feel pretty. Feels pretty stiff, but nah, won't even feel stiff. We'll give that another 2 or 3 minutes. We'll check the stream, check the computer because make sure it hasn't gone off yet. Okay, we are still going. It's still happening. Cool. Just trying to look at what I can better for next time. Yes, we'll figure it out. I think part of it is this is holding a cord back, but this doesn't need to be in frame, does it? Doesn't need to be occupying such a large part of the frame. Yeah, we're going. Doesn't look great, obviously. Boiling beef liver, not the greatest. Does not create the greatest looking thing that you've ever tried. Yep, we'll get into some knife work and stuff in a minute here. We're just go ahead. This can go back into a hot. This also, again, carryover cooking. Carryover cooking is enormous. As I knew, but have learned even more about, there's a guy online who showed that most carryover cooking in steaks, if you pull a steak at like 130 or 135, which is generally medium rare, those steaks carry over like 10 full degrees. So if you're pulling a steak at 135, but you think that's medium rare, that steak's going to carry over into medium territory. So carryover cooking, those are going to keep being hot. That's essentially, oh boy, what is it? Heat transfer on the inside. All right, let's do this. So we want to get this moving, rolling. Not quite there yet, but very close because this is going to cool it down. Remember, cold things into hot things. It's the same thing as carryover cooking. There is an equilibrium heat. So this is hot, this is cold. They'll come down and they will be less of each. Cool. So we are putting in. We are adding our 1 pound of. This is just 80-20 ground pork. You don't want to add anything like breakfast sausage or anything too seasoned, right? Obviously, it is for a dog, so a dog does not need cumin. A dog does especially not need things like onions and garlic. Dogs, those are very poisonous to dogs. So I'm doing now is I'm just cutting this up into smaller pieces. We want this to be, it's all going to be kind of pebbly, I would say, is the texture of this at the end. Kind of pebbly smooth. Okay, so break that up. This breaks up a lot better also. The warmer the water is, because what that does is as soon as you sort of break off a piece, it cooks it, and those separate pieces will tend to stay separate. If it's too cool and you try to break it up, those pieces will want to stick back together. You've maybe experienced that if you have not had a. Have you ever done anything like this? Putting meat into water, or meat into sauce, or something like that. Cold meat into warm sauce, that is. Okay, that's pretty well broken up. As you can see, it's mostly small pieces. Some bigger chunks in there doesn't matter. The dog can chew. The dog has teeth. He can chew. Cool. I want to bring this back up to where it is warm. This broccoli is previously frozen, so it is very cold. And so I want this water moving before I dump that in there. We're going to go ahead and add our rice and quinoa. That is okay. That is not going to affect the temperature too much, temperature difference. And that's just convenience for speed of cooking. There is some kind of food safety stuff of adding hot things into cold things that you don't want to do when you're in a like a real professional environment, but cooking at home for your dog doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We don't care that much about. We care only for food safety for dogs in that it is edible. Yep, he's looking at me. He's looking at me over there. All right, once this comes back and I see it moving, which means that it's near 200, 250. Sorry, 212. Yeah, see, we're at 150 on the top. So we're at 8. Let's go up to 10. Let's really crank it. I usually don't add this. I usually don't add the pumpkin until the very end. This pumpkin doesn't need to cook. Um, it's not super moist. I mean, I don't know if you've seen this. It looks like it's. It would come out shaped like a can, except it's a little bit stickier than that, so it actually doesn't. Okay. We're just gonna dump it all in. Yeah. That's actually, how many pounds is this? 2.5 pounds, and a half, so it's like yeah, little over a pound. So, again, not enough veg, and I'm saying it for myself online, but it should be enough. This we might need, in my opinion, I think a little bit more carb to absorb some of this water. So I'm going to add, I think I'm going to add a little bit more rice. Not a whole lot more. Just a little bit more rice. We don't want this to be too thin, right? The dog doesn't want to eat soup on top of his stuff. It should be solid food. It is good to give your dogs moisture through their food, obviously, which is another minor issue, I guess, that I have with dry food. Dry food is generally, doesn't expire, takes up space, all that jazz. And it has a percent moisture in it, but the dog is not getting much of his water from dry food. Okay, this is looking better to me already, I think. Yeah, and I think that we're going to be good here once this comes back up to a boil. All right, I have some of the water drippings from here, so I'm going to add that back in. That's going in last. Here's this. I need to remember to try to cut over here where you can see me. Yeah, so I generally just cut this stuff into little squares, because that's pretty easy to do. I think I'm just going to cut these in half. None of my knives are sharp enough. I'm going to get yelled at by that if anybody knows anything about cooking ever comes in here. Hey, if anybody ever comes in here at all, they're allowed to yell at me. And I am just going to drop these. One of the reasons I like using a cleaver, boom, instant scoop. I'm just going to drop those back into this bowl I have over here. Just testing stuff out. Thought that Melina might show up, but she didn't. Alright, and how do we cut this up? Well, you do our best. You just kind of cut it up. There's not really a good way to do it. I just create strips, line up the strips and cut. You can stack them. You can see, like, yeah, even this, look. It's for a dog. As long as everything is small enough. Right? You don't want any huge pieces, right? You don't want the dog to think that everything is chopped up to a small size and then to suddenly have a big piece. That would be bad, but everything else, as long as it is cut and small, it should be fine. See, so I don't know if you can see this, but just the very center of this is still pink. Like that. I mean, this is a good. I would eat this as pork. That's pretty much perfect. Maybe a little over pork for me. Dog doesn't care. We're cooking it all the way. We're cooking it 100%. There's definitely still some fat on here, which is good. Dogs like fat. I think that's good. Definitely still some fat. The pork loin is a good choice because I buy whole pork loins from Costco, which is just about the cheapest meat you can buy. Pork loin is like $1.80 a pound, maybe $2 a pound. Super cheap. But I mean, if you're just doing stuff like pork stir fries or like a whole pork roast or something, I think it's a good cut of meat. I mean, it's pretty lean. Again, it kind of just has like one little fat cap on it. But I mean, if you just want pork, it's and you need cheap meat, I like pork loin. I'm a big fan. Pork tenderloin is also similarly cheap and probably a better cut of meat. I would highly suggest you don't. If you need protein, if you need meat, if you like meat in your diet, and you need something cheap and are used to buying chicken, or you don't want to buy beef because beef is super fucking expensive, so nobody wants to buy beef. I know I certainly don't. Pork tenderloin is kind of my go-to. Pork tenderloin and then chicken breast and chicken thighs are almost basically the only meats that I buy. I will buy stew beef often. Do not buy a whole lot of steaks. Steak is the kind of thing that you need a lot of practice to be good at. And to be honest, the guys who are cooking 100, 200, 400 steaks a night at a steakhouse are infinitely better at cooking steaks than I will ever be, even if I cooked a steak every day of my life for a year. So I am perfectly content, generally, to go to a steakhouse, order a steak, and let those guys do their job for me. I have no issue with that. I think that you are paying for a kind of expertise that is very difficult to get at home. If you are lucky enough to have sort of a house and a grill and, you know, enough money to buy steaks to cook them all through the summer, I think you get pretty good at doing them. You can definitely get them done the way you'd like, but to be able to go into a steakhouse and order, say, a filet or ribeye or a skirt or whatever, and to have them know how to cook each of those to perfect doneness, I think that's impressive and generally worth the price. I think they can also just get better meat oftentimes. Man, like, I wouldn't walk into my local grocery store, my H-E-B here, or Sprouts or Whole Foods or whatever. Whole Foods I would be okay with, but most places I would not just walk in and buy whatever steak they have sitting out. If it's not graded correctly, or it's not graded highly enough, it's just not worth it. You really do want, that's at 10s, we're turning that down now. I mean, you really do want, steak is about the meat. I don't like doing much to steaks, just keep it kind of simple. So I'm going to stir this around again, make sure nothing's getting stuck to the bottom. I think we're looking pretty good. That is just going to cook away. When we are ready, we will add in, we have our nice chopped meat here. Nice, all of our meat mixed up. Again, that's probably, I wish I could weigh that. That's probably 2 pounds of meat, plus it'll be 0.80% of a pound, because the fat will cook out of it. But that 80-20 ground pork is also in there. I'm going to swap gloves, just one glove. That was dirty. And you guys can watch my dog get absolutely voracious on this cutting board. I'm going to go clean my knife. Cleaning right after you're cooking is always good. I know that is incredibly difficult for a lot of people to do. I know it is incredibly difficult for me to do often. But let me tell you, there's something massively easier about cleaning a freshly used item, or cleaning an item. Mr. Dog! Mr. Wags! My dog's name is Mr. Wags. Are you coming here for a treat? Come here. There's a treat, Mr. Dog. Do you want a treat? You don't want a treat. Okay. Let's see if I can bring this over. Not hurt myself doing it. To right there. Let's see how that looks. Let me check my computer. This is a scuffed setup. That looks fine. Do you want a treat, little dog? Come on. Come get your treat. Come get your treat here. I'll put it all the way over here. There. Go get it. Go get it. Go get the treat. Look, it's right there. Look, do you not see this? Are you stupid? It's right here. Get the treat. He thinks I'm trying to trick him. There he goes. See, Eden? Yeah. We did it. We did it. I just get to watch my dog's ass as he licks that. It's cute. Just you can finish it. You can finish it. I'm not doing anything. I don't know what his problem is. Yeah, see. Rice is getting there. Rice generally takes, open cooking like this, 20 minutes to cook. I do often give it a little bit of time to settle at the end. But So, go ahead and open this up. I don't know if do you guys leave a little tab on your cans when you open them so that they all stick together? I sometimes do, but not always. Really just depends. Let's see, what am I going to use to mix this up with? I think. Rubber spoon, get. This is probably what I like most. We're going to load this up into some quart containers. I'll take them out of my... Get some quart containers ready over here. I'm going to guess this is going to be 3 and a little bit, because this is a 4-quart crock pot, and we are a little short on that. So it is going to be bolstered up, of course, by the meat, pumpkin, but yeah, that is what we're dealing with. So, dog still cooking. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's coming. He's coming. You done? Yeah, he's done. He's done. Right, over the dishes. We've got maybe 10 minutes here left. And I don't want to cover this. The reason is, over the 3 or 4 years, I guess probably 4.5 years I've been making this for my dog, I have learned that driving off the appropriate amount of water, how much water to start with, if I did cover this, I would probably only start... You could probably cover this if you started with 1 quart. So 1 of these containers. I did about 1.5, which means we are obviously losing a lot of that liquid into from evaporation. Good old water cycle science there. We will let that keep going. If there's anybody in chat, who has a question or anything I can answer, I would love to do that. What's going on in Discord? Playing stuff. People doing things. Watch. Live. Does it not show me my own stream when I try to manage it? Yes, there it is. There we go. Yeah, we're doing it. It's me on my phone in the background. Cool. Stream matter. I wish I could see chat. Activity feed. Chat. Cool. Wish I could see chat and everything at the same time, but so be it. We wait. This is my Toradora t-shirt. I like Toradora. It's one of my favorite romance anime. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. So, oh boy, can I even demonstrate this with my bad webcam? The way that you tell when rice is done, rice cooks obviously is sitting in a hot water from the outside in. So if you can see, let's see if I can get a grain of rice here. Let me, hold on. Can I not make this bigger? Watch. Fog in the glasses. Yes. Okay. So I have a grain of rice. And, well, I don't know if you can see, but the grain of rice inside is not cooked inside. So if I squish this grain of rice, you can kind of see in the center there that the outside of it is soft and is cooked, and then the very inside of it is still kind of that stiff, that stiff kind of dry, uncooked piece of rice. So the best way, in my opinion, if you want to test for rice doneness, is always to get a grain and either press it between your two fingers, and you can either feel that bran or like press it on a cutting board. I don't necessarily want to do it with like a knife or anything. And again, remember, carryover cooking is important. Although we're making dog food, so it's not super important. But if you're making rice, you take it out and you pull it, and there's just the tiniest sliver. You can maybe turn it over and rest it. A lot of rice recipes, you'll notice, will have a time at the end where they will say, bring the water to a boil, turn it down to low, cook it for 10 minutes, and then cover it and let it sit for 10 or 15, right? That essentially, right, that's both carryover cooking and the fact that you are bringing that water to 212, stuff in, and then letting that temperature come down. But rice is cooking, you can just soak rice in room temperature water and it will fully penetrate it. Now, that takes a long time, obviously, but you can do that with pasta and stuff too, right? There was a storm here. It was an ice storm, like, was it 4 years ago now? COVID year, maybe? And I was stuck with no power for like 3 full days, which is pretty bad. But it meant that I needed to eat something. I had dry pasta. I soaked it in water. I ate it with like ranch dressing and frozen peas. It was pretty terrible, but it was what I had to do. This is what I needed. So, all that being said, remember that you are cooking things as soon as most anything hits about 140, 150, you're cooking things, right? I mean, if the perfect steak temperature is 130, and the outside of your steak, is in a pan that's 400, 500 degrees, the steak is still cooked at 130, 140. So that's why we often will use that carryover cooking, that sort of, I don't even know what you call it, like coasting down off the temperature. It is essentially just carryover cooking, but if you're leaving that rice sitting in the hot water in that 212 coming down degree thing, it's going to cook really, really gently, as the chefs like to say. It's going to cook gently because instead of everything around it being 212 and then the 212 is penetrating into the rice, which is not that temperature. The temperature of the water is slowly coming down to 212. But again, because we're sort of over that level of we're cooking something, it's still cooking. So, but it's cooking gently. It's coming down, and it's not going to be too it's not going to be too overcooked, right? You're not going to make your rice too mushy if you do that. Although, in this case, the dog doesn't care if the rice is a little mushy. He just likes his food. He likes that it has lots of sugar and protein in it. Not lots of sugar, but it's got carbs, it's got fiber. This is 40 carbs in here. Jeez. Yeah, or 35. So. Why it just doesn't, the stream just doesn't want to load on my phone whenever I do this. Cool. Work out, get my arms going. We're still probably maybe 5 minutes out on the dog food. 5 minutes, we will turn it off. We will add the meat back in. We will add this back in. We will mix it all up. We'll portion it out. This is probably going to be more like, tricky camera for a second. This is going to be more like probably 3.5 quarts. So, deal with that. How is everybody? Stream manager. Okay, I gotta remember that if I lean in, if I'm like here, face shows. So I wonder. Might have to turn up my mic sensitivity, or no, maybe it can do like room. You can grab the room because my mic can get to my normal professional grade mic. Professional grade Eddie, $100 is a good mic. I don't hate it. But yeah, see, the water's getting absorbed. We're kind of getting more of a sloppy water consistency. I can see less of the sort of inner bran, although I can take another piece. If I squish it, let's see if you can. You can still kind of see, if you see that, there is a Still that little bit of bran in there, or not bran, the center of the rice, not technically the bran, because it's not. The bran would only be, maybe it's the whole thing the bran. I don't know. I'm not good with. Don't remember the rice anatomy. I know that the brown rice has bran. I believe that's what it is. I believe that the white rice is only the germ. I don't remember. Somebody correct me in chat. Oh wait, there's nobody here. Doesn't matter. We're gonna do this more often. I think we have a setup that works. This has not set off my smoke alarm so far. that was my big worry. I have pretty high ceilings, so hopefully we're okay. I think we could turn this off now, but again, with the tempering, gotta remember, this meat is down to, you know, what is this, 100 degrees, maybe not even? Yeah, I mean, this is 85 degrees. This is also room temperature, so, you know, down around 80 degrees, so adding all that stuff in is going to drop the temp, so that coasting rice down from 212 that I was talking about, that doesn't happen when you add a bunch of cold stuff in at the end, so you have to be careful. Sometimes you intentionally do that. There's some stuff like cacio e pepe, or what's the egg yolk one? There's that egg yolk pasta dish that's just egg yolk parmesan. That's kind of the sauce. The idea of that is sort of tempering that hot pasta water into the kind of cool, egg and cheese mixture. And so the point of that is to bring it to more of a gentle cooking temperature, like a 140, 150, where eggs, egg yolks, and egg whites cook at different temperatures, but you've mixed them up usually in that recipe. So we are almost there. Go check the stream. Double check. It's still going. It's still going. Nobody's watching. Hurrah! Chat is waiting for new messages. Yeah, you know what? Fucking me too. I don't think I'm ever gonna be able. I can get the Vtuber model to work because the Vtuber model has to look at my face. I can't have my face on stream in the Vtuber model. Oh, you can see my mop sticking out of that closet over there. That's fun. That's still not looking. Oh, we should also probably put VTube Studio top. Shoulder isn't clipped through. Cool. Cool. We can also keep this cooking. We can keep the burner on while we cook stuff. Yeah, we don't need to really worry about this. We could go into the pumpkin. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Not the end of the world here to add this pumpkin now. This is fun. Am I eating this shit all over myself? Okay. Alright, trash can's down here. Not just throwing it on the floor, don't worry. Yes. See, we're thick and gloppy now. We're almost, I don't know if you can see this, but when I like pull this away, you see how like the whole water level actually dips and it isn't just all flat? That's telling me that we're at a gloppy stage. We're at a gloppy stage. Another thing you should know for a thickness of something like a stew, or like this is like a porridge, I guess you would say, is that adding more pieces, even without removing any water, will generally sort of thicken it. And you'll kind of see what that looks like when I add the meat in here. As long as this is sort of a clingy type of thing, which it is, right? I don't know if you can see. Right, I mean, it's clingy, right? This is not, it doesn't run. You can see that stripe on the back of trying to not make a mess. You can see that stripe on the back of the spoon. Because it's clingy, when I add more things, there's more always clung around those. You can't, very hard to separate those without just washing them off. So once you do that, this is going to thicken up. And I do think that this is... I do think that we're pretty close to done. I'm going to bring this all the way back up. I do want this to get to... yeah, there it goes. I do want this to be at 212. Be a boiling temperature, essentially. Because that rice, again, was not quite done. We can definitely rely on some carry over there, but we don't want to... If the dog gets undercooked rice, it's going to pass right out his butt. He's not going to digest it. I have to pick that up, so not the most fun. We do want the dog to absorb all of the nutrients he's getting from this. So, yeah, but I mean, we're doing really good, I think, on consistency. I think once we add the rest of it in, this might be a little thin, but it's kind of hard. I feel like I've never made it the same consistency twice. So let that keep going. Just a little bit more. Some other things you could add in here. If your dog will eat spinach, spinach is a really good one. That is a very high fiber. I've put Brussels sprouts in this before. The dog does not mind that. That's anything in the cabbage or lettuce family is generally okay. You don't want to add anything, obviously. Onions, garlic, those are all bad for dogs. Don't add chocolate into your dog food, obviously. But yeah, I mean, you could do anything. You basically just need protein, veg, carbohydrates, and you want to try to give them as much fiber as possible, especially if you're like me, in a place where you have to still pick up your dog poop. Fiber is important. Dog doesn't get fiber. Hard to pick up dog food. Okay. All right. We're going to be done with this. Clang, clang. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because I believe that we are essentially done cooking. Again, carryover cooking happens. Going to add in. Can I get this where you guys can see it better? Yeah. Add in all of my good meat that I got earlier. Hey, you want a treat, Mr. Dog? There's more. Come on. But there's more over here if you want it. Let's see if he'll come eat that. And then we're just going to stir this up. So we're no longer cooking. The induction is no longer heating our element, but remember, something's hot, something's cooking. Yeah, and like I said, we added all that stuff in, and now it is even thicker. We have not removed that much water from it. All we've done is add in that protein, and this stuff, essentially moves, is even thicker. I mean, even just picking it up, right? I think that it was falling away when I did that previously. It sticks now because that liquid has more things to stick to, thicker. So yeah, cool. That's it. That's what I do for my dog food. The nice fan has gone off. I don't know how annoying that fan was, but yeah. I'm just going to let this do a little bit of carryover cooking for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going to load it up into the quart containers. I keep usually one of these, like one or two fresh at a time in the fridge. The rest go in the freezer. And then, yeah, I pull them out as I need them. Feed the dog. Goes on top of his dry food. I got to take him for a walk now. Then we'll come back and have dinner. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let's go over here and turn it off. Thanks for watching, everybody, even though it was nobody. Ha ha ha! How long can we do this, Mr. Dog?